everybody, it's Rich Aguilar from Shutter Up, and I just want to say, hey, welcome to the community. This is our first video, and this is super exciting for me. And I also just want to say thank you to everybody who is already a part of this amazing community. The interaction that we're getting is amazing. We are in our infancy, and many good things and great things are going to come. And so I'm excited about all of the amazing artists, whether you're brand new or whether you are a seasoned pro. Thank you so much for being a part of the Shutter Up community. Today, what we're going to talk about is frequency separation. What is that? Well, basically, we're going to be talking about how to retouch our photos like a pro. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're already here in my project, and you're going to notice that I am in Lightroom, and I have an image that I took a few weeks ago. This is the image that I posted in our Facebook group, and this lovely lady, her name is Heather. So you're going to notice a couple things right off the bat. And first, let me make a distinction. There is a difference between editing an image and then retouching an image. Editing, we're just doing basic correction. We're changing the exposure. We are taking away the highlights, etc., or adding highlights, boosting the color, flattening an image, contrasting the image to make it pop more. Where retouching is, we're getting a little more down into the nitty-gritty. We're correcting maybe acne, or maybe we're shaping the face. And we do these things, at least the way I do them, in Photoshop. So let's look at this image right here. On the right side, this is what the image looks like straight out of the camera, the raw file. You'll notice pretty flat. Colors are a bit muted. And on the left side is the edited image. So this is my workflow. I bring in my image. I edit it with some of the presets that I've created, and then I make some minor adjustments. As a matter of fact, here are some of the adjustments, the basic ones anyways. And when I get my image where I feel comfortable, where I feel that it looks good, it looks sharp, and if this is an image that I want to retouch, if I know this is an image that will be printed for my client, what I will do is I will bring this image into Photoshop. So how we do that is we select the image we want to bring into Photoshop. We right click, go up to Edit In, and then Edit in Adobe Photoshop. Now I already have that file in, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. Or get rid of the action that I already had. So this is what it looks like in Photoshop. Lightroom's going to open up a new layer for you. It's going to be locked. And this is what we're going to do. I will download my own frequency separation for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a Dropbox folder in this post so that you can download it and upload it to your Photoshop. So this is how it works. I'm going to click on my action button. I'm going to go to frequency separation, and I'm going to hit the play button. The action's going to do its deal, and then it's going to pop up right over here. Boom. Folder's going to come open. You're going to see a layer called texture, and you're going to see a layer called color. What is the texture layer? What is frequency separation? In medical terms, frequency separation is an action in Photoshop that literally maps the texture on the skin, on the face, on the arm, on the hands, and makes its own layer on top of everything, so that when we do a correction, we do it underneath so that we don't destroy the skin texture. So what I'm going to do is show you how this works. I'm going to click on my color layer. Let me close that. I'm going to hit Command J to duplicate it. I now have color copy, and then this is the copy that we're going to adjust and correct. We're going to go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then for an image this size, I want to do, you'll notice that my image is now blurry. It looks really soft, really dreamy. That is not what we want to do. What we want to do is just have about a pixel range of about 5 or 6, and I'll tell you why. So we're going to click OK. Wheel of Death goes round and round. We're going to zoom out a bit, and you're going to notice it's all blurry. Well, how do we fix this to get what we want? What we're going to do is use our mask. Now we have a mask, but now we're going to click on it. We're going to hit Command I, which is going to invert it. All right, so now you notice our image is nice and sharp again, and then this is the magic of frequency separation on how to get nice, smooth, silky skin without destroying your image using the dodge tool or the burn tool in Photoshop. So I'm going to zoom in, and you're going to notice that this camera caught all of these, all of the nooks and crannies of the skin. And so I'm going to get my brush tool. We're going to hit B. I'm going to make sure that my paint bucket is white for my mask because we inverted it. I'm going to bracket down a bit, and we're going to start up here on her forehead, and you're going to notice the difference right away. Look at that. It's smooth. Look at that. It is smoothing her skin, and what you also notice is that we still have her skin texture intact. Look at that. It's amazing. Here's the difference. Wrinkly, not wrinkly. Totally different skin. We're going to do the same thing here. It softens the skin, but we don't lose the texture. That's what the frequency separation does. This is an action that I'm going to give you guys that you can download and play with your little heart's content. You're going to be blown away. Now, I do warn you that when you get a new tool, I know I'm guilty of it myself, you want to go overboard. I would say don't go anything more than 8 pixels, but play with it as you need to. Cameras are different, raw files are different. And notice I'm not doing the lips. That's a personal preference. I don't touch the lips. I just want soft, smooth skin. Booyah. There we go. And if for some reason you go over the nostrils, just hit X to get your paint bucket, and you just make sure that you keep those nostrils nice and clean. And then make sure you bracket your brush down, really get underneath the eyes. We want to make sure that everything we can is nice and smooth. And then the other thing that's awesome about this frequency separation is we can still change what we want to change as far as like the spot healing brush. Like we have a little bit of pigmentation here. We have a couple little things of acne. I'm going to bracket down on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of fix that for her. We're going to help this. We're going to help our friend out a little bit. Get rid of this little zit right there. Get rid of some of these little boogers that want to pop out. You know, we want to help this young lady out just a hair. Now I'm going to go underneath my color and make sure. Here we go. Make sure your paint bucket is black. I'm going to go back. Get really smooth this out for her. She'll appreciate it later. Get some of the blotchiness. All right, we're getting good. All right, and we could stop here, and this would be somewhat decent, but there's actually more that we could do because we have our texture on top of everything. As long as we do everything underneath this texture, you see what happens. So I create a new layer. I make sure it's under my skin texture, and do you notice how her nose kind of bends in a little? Oops. A little more on this side than it does this side. That might be a highlight. That might be a skin tone thing. But what we want to do is help her out and correct that. So I'm going to go to my paint bucket, and I'm going to sample the color that's right by that. And you get a nice skin color. We're going to hit B for our brush. We're going to bracket up just a hair. And then you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint. I want to paint right there. Kind of smooths her nose out a bit, and then what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to bring that opacity down to about, I don't know, say 50, maybe 45, something like that, just to where you still see that little indentation, but it's not as drastic, so that when we zoom out, it looks natural, looks like it's a part of her nose. And then if you want, you can just hit the E tool, which brings up your eraser, you know, Command plus to bracket, and then you just kind of erase a little bit as much as you need because we don't want it to look photoshopped. And then you can do the same thing for other blemishes. For example, on the right-hand side here, it looks like there's some skin pigmentation. So we're going to correct that. So create a new layer and then sample that. Let's see here. Let's sample that little spot right there. Let's bracket down our brush just a hair. Oops. Oops. Hit B for your brush. Bracket it up. And then just kind of hit it a little bit. And then we're just going to kind of, again, reduce the opacity Looks a lot better. I like that. And then we zoom out. Looks completely, it just looks better. In fact, we probably want to zoom, not zoom, but bring this opacity down to say, I don't know, let's do 15. That looks good. And then from there, and you can do this all over the face, and notice we didn't lose the skin texture because we did everything underneath the skin texture layer in our frequency separation action. So this is something that I want everyone to play with, get used to it, find a photo that you have a nice sized face on, and start doing this for your clients, and they're going to love you for it. And again, I'm going to post this action in the comment so that you can go to the Dropbox link and download it. I don't know how long I'll have it there, so you want to download it for sure. But that's it. And look, we touched it up, and look the difference between the two. So this is touched up, and this isn't. Touched up and not. It's not a drastic change, but the subtle always makes a big difference. And if there's one thing I can't say before I sign off is less is more. Always remember less is more when you're talking about post-processing, especially in Photoshop. It's so easy to get carried away. Again, this is Rich Aguilar, and I'm very thankful for all of you. Hopefully this helped. If you're not a part of the community, be a part of the community. Share this video with your friends who are fellow photographers, and I'm just excited about what we have going on here. All right, catch everybody later.